Okay, great. Hey. By the way, Aaron, you're welcome for having the easiest name to pronounce, Nancy Smith. I think that's pretty straightforward. It is such a pleasure to be here in Amsterdam. It is my second time here, and I was telling Cheryl, like, it just has to be one of the best cities. Such a diverse city with modern architecture, the beautiful sign, definitely iconic, as well as great history. So when I was asked to present, it was like, yeah, I'll be there. And so, of course, it's nice, and I look forward to meeting all of you. So my goal today, first of all, how many of you have ever been to Alberta? Anybody other than Aaron? Oh, good. Okay, did a quick poll, because I actually sold it to our executive team that I was doing some statistical research here. So I just counted maybe a dozen people. Of course, the next question at the end of the presentation will, now that I motivate you to consider coming to Alberta, or better yet, we have direct flights from Amsterdam and many cities in Europe, so I hope I can sell some trips as well. So if you are not familiar with this, and I love the idea that I have the challenge today to give you all the secret sauce on how to sell your destination and solve the challenge. I don't know if I can accomplish that, but I certainly will be sharing with you many of my learnings, and hope that perhaps you can have some takeaways. So what the heck is in Alberta?
You're a bow, an arrow, a broken guitar, while the rainwater washes away who you are. We go over the mountains and under the stars. We go over the mountains and under the stars.
Thank you. So in a nutshell, what is in Alberta? We are a destination that has breathtaking landscapes. It's as simple as that. And that video is actually 4 years old, and we have a whole series of videos that were meant to inspire. And they were created when we launched our new brand. The essence of our brand was we have these breathtaking landscapes, so when you visit, we hope you remember to breathe. You get caught up in the moment. So the challenge that we have, though, being a landlocked province, we have no access to the beautiful ocean. We're located in Western Canada next to some very well-known destinations like Vancouver. But the truth is, we held many focus groups where people will say, I don't even know what an Alberta is. You're asking me more information. Maybe you can relate to that, just that pure, like, what is it? What we are known for is we're home of the Canadian Rockies. So we have some iconic destinations that are well known. And I assure you that my presentation is not packed with stats either, but I wanted to give you some context. So some real information of like what people know of when they think, and we ask, you know, have you considered, what is your knowledge of? Do you have a desire to visit Canada? What do you know about Canada? Other province names come up, but the truth is when you're traveling, I don't think anybody says, you know, my bucket list includes a trip to Alberta. It's to see something like Lake Louise, or it's to go skiing in one of our resorts. It's based on the emotive connection that you have. And we have, just like you, a lot of competition. We market actively in 9 markets internationally. Our largest market is international is the US. We do see a lot of local visitation as well. But as you can see, we are trying to make a difference and attract people from all over the world. This is the core essence of like our strategy. And we keep our traveler, our consumer, at the heart of everything that we do. And what we're trying to do as a destination marketing organization is 4 things. And that number 1 be an outstanding destination marketing organization. So everything that we do, we think of it like our own business. How we spend our dollars, how we come up with a strategy, we try to take it, to the next level every single time and be innovative. As well, we are trying to mobilize our own industry to become better marketers, and of course, that involves social media. It's a challenge, but we're trying. So we do that through education. We do it through leadership, through showing them what we do at Travel Alberta Online. We are leveraging our strength of our brand that's been now in market for 4 years, and we've had really good traction, recognition, and through awards, of course. That's nice from a corporate standpoint, but definitely those videos, that video that you saw online, I was the director of brand when we did them, and I had the great honor of going around the province and shooting those videos with a big team. And so it was like, I have one son, he's 9, and he's the love of my life, but I felt like I gave labor and birth to those videos, so it was a wonderful project to be a part of too. But know that, with those videos, it was so neat to me. After we launched them, I actually moved to the social media role, and I use a tool, I'm sure many of you do too, called Hootsuite. And so when I was monitoring, the mentions of Travel Alberta or the words, keywords, people would actually tweet us from around the world to tell us how much they loved those videos. And I never in a billion years thought that somebody would actually take the time out of their day to say, I like a commercial. So, check in the box of success, we were happy. And we still see those today. So that's a neat example of branded content. I would love to have a sign in somewhere in Alberta like I Am Amsterdam. I might steal that idea. But if we don't have the traffic like Amsterdam does in terms of visitation, if we can spread it out through video and a powerful story, that way it works. So with the background information of what we're trying to achieve as a destination, I guess the question is, are we really that different as marketers in this room? In a brief conversation with Cheryl this morning, and he was telling me about the realities of marketing a city like this and the challenges of local marketing versus long haul, I was like, gosh, we have the same challenge. And by the way, I don't find the people of Amsterdam to be grumpy. I think they're lovely and charming and beautiful. Everybody here is so good looking. So I don't think that we are that different. And the other point that I took away from building this presentation was to give you some takeaways too. I'm not here to sell you social media. That's what we all do here. But let me share with you some of the experiences that we've had so far. So a little history, because our history is so new compared to many of the cities and countries that you're from. Alberta was really, the whole tourism industry was launched just over 100 years ago. And this gentleman, William Cornelius Van Horn, was a part of the railway. And the railway was built to link Western Canada to Eastern Canada. It was actually like a unification project for this massive country. And when the 2 rail lines were being built at the same time, from the west and from the east. And when they came to Banff, Banff is probably, and I'll brag, I won't be humble about this, one of the most breathtaking places in the world. And he saw the scenery and he saw the potential and he said, we need to bring people here. If we can't export these mountains, we're going to import the tourists. And thus, the birth of our tourism industry was created. So a beautiful hotel, an iconic Fairmont property. It's called the Banff Springs Hotel. It looks like a castle in the Rockies. It's the closest you'll get to a castle in Canada, I think. But it was built, and that started our tourism industry. So what was neat, though, and the connection to social media, is William Cornelius Van Horn would invite international artists to come. They could come to Canada for free. They could take the train and stay in this property, the Banff Springs Hotel, or the Chateau Lake Louise, which is equally breathtaking. And as long as they did their art and made paintings and then put them on display where they were from, and perhaps leave a painting too as a recognition of their time. So, he was bringing in artists, they were making their art, then they were sharing them with their audiences. It sounds very familiar to the current strategy that I have with bringing in influencers, hosting Instagrammers who take beautiful photos. I look after them and give them a great visit, and they share them with their audiences around the world. So as much as I like to think, oh gosh, we're so innovative, thank you, Sir William, for that idea. It's working very well for us. So the other challenge that we have is even if we were to engage every single Albertan, every person who calls Alberta home and is fiercely proud of their home, we have a teeny tiny population of only 4 million. And so leveraging social media and the opportunities with the network sizes, that's what this graph represents, is the only way we're going to break through and create better awareness of our destination. So I guess the reality that we all face now is where our customers are spending their time has changed. And obviously, all of these changes impact greatly how we connect with them, how we learn, how we engage with brands, and also how we make purchase decisions. So, you know, if you would have told me 14 years ago when I started in tourism marketing that one day I would be looking online and seeing thousands of photos being added daily about our destination, I would have said, sure, have you been to Amsterdam, to these cafes lately? Maybe that's affecting your brain. It's just not, it wasn't feasible. You know, our biggest concern was like, do you have a high-res image, maybe 1 or 2 that represents your destination? Now we have access to hundreds of great photos of our destination, and telling the story has never been easier. It's the challenge of funneling our efforts. And by the way, every single photo that I've used in our presentation today has been taken by, from Instagram. And this actually is a lesser-known area of Alberta, but is equally breathtaking. It's called the Badlands, and Alberta is home to one of the richest fossil beds in the world, and home of a great paleontologist and fascinating about dinosaur history. So, you know, I think the biggest reality for me was in convincing our team that social media was the way to go, and we couldn't just affect solving the challenge of increasing awareness of our destination by spending more money. It was by leveraging the audiences of influencers and convincing people that celebrity versus what an influencer is very different. We didn't always have to use you know, powerful celebrities like the way we think of Hollywood celebrities, but the truth is networks are much bigger than our own. So I'm happy to say we've amassed a good following in social media with Travel Alberta. We have 500,000 followers and fans across our English-speaking channels, and in China we have over 600,000 as well. So all that hard work and effort, and we have this community is wonderful, but the influencers are more powerful. did this video to celebrate the use of a hashtag, and it was just Instagram photos. We were celebrating, woohoo, we had 15,000, and I thought that was remarkable, and we just passed 200,000 uses of our hashtag last month. So the other thing that amazes me about social is setting targets is next to impossible, and so whenever I'm asked, like, what are your goals and what are your objectives for this? My answer is this, exponential growth. If I set an exact target, every single year, I'm so wrong, it's almost embarrassing. But it's such a great problem to have to be so wrong when exponential growth sees. So that type of growth for the use of a hashtag, and Explore Alberta, it's not as obvious as I am Amsterdam with a sign or anything like that. It just seems like people have really embraced it. And it's because of our strong local Instagram and Twitter community that put it out, and I think it inspires people. They're doing the job for us, but let me tell you more about that. So I loved this morning when you see the use and how other people use the brand, and I would say that would be the biggest lesson, like coming from being a director of brand and holding so closely what we need to do. I realized with social that it was now out of our hands, and that as a destination storyteller, I no longer had to be in control. My job really was to become a curator of content and a sharer. I'm a destination story sharer versus just a teller. So I let it go, and where it took us is beyond where we could have ever imagined. And the steps really of the last, I would say 16 to 18 months have been remarkable for us in leveraging the power of visual storytelling or story sharing. You can tell, based on what I've shown you so far, that the visual side and video is very powerful, and it helps explain a little bit better in context of the opportunities we have. So one of the first things that we did was actually start to recognize who are these local Instagrammers that are so passionate about Alberta, taking photos and sharing them, going and exploring every weekend. So we recognized who they were, we reached out to them, and we physically had meetups. So if you have not yet held an Insta-meet, you should. And that would be just a huge success. We've held 6 now successfully, and we average, anywhere from 50 to 100 people coming out. And my favorite thing is putting the face behind the talent and the creativity, and now building our team. So it may have been slightly misleading when it said that in my title that I lead the global social media team. We actually physically only have 2 people, but then we leverage other markets, and also we use Think Social Media for help too with community management internationally. But know that the power of engaging these advocates so that they feel a part of the team has been a huge part of the growth of our success. But the truth is, again, with letting go control, I didn't necessarily direct or anything like that ask them for any specific outcomes. In fact, we've enabled it. We've given them things like, because of the huge distance of our province, I think that my colleague Mito, who's here with me from Alberta, said, you'd have to put together numerous countries, including like France and Holland, and I forget all the list of them, to make up our physical size. It's a huge province. To drive from one end to the other is like probably 18 hours, and one side to the other would be 8 hours. Like, it's massive. So one of the things that we give our Instagrammers as a thank you is a gasoline card, and they love it. So it enables them to get out more and explore. But they want to tell their stories in their way, and we just allow that to happen. And so here's some tips on that we've had in terms of building advocates. We have given their content a platform. On Instagram, we do not post a single branded photo. It is all reposts. And so we give them a shout out, we tag them in the photo, and there's nothing better than them celebrating the success of, oh my gosh, I was profiled on Travel Alberta's channel. We also use a new program for us for acquiring these photos, and you'll see how we incorporate them into our marketing with a program called Shoot, C-H-U-T-E, out of California. So we invite the share, but we also make it worth their while. So the idea of thanking them. We give them opportunities to create habits, but more importantly, we are not creating a new system. Chances are you're already using this too, but we just enable and facilitate it more. And here is a truth for me in everything that I've done so far in business. It's all about the law of reciprocity. And if you're not familiar with it, it's as easy as this. As much as we give and as much as we enable and as much as we empower, I find that that just gives us back more and more. And so when we invite an Instagrammer or a content creator to come to Alberta as a guest of ours, I want them to come as badly as they want to. And if I don't feel that equal love, like, yeah, I want to go there and I want to do this, then it won't work. So it isn't just about audience size or following or even the geography of those creators. So when I first started, I'm like, we need an Instagrammer from the UK. That's a really important market for us. And so I'd go online and find 3 or 4 and then make an invitation out. And luckily enough, to date, we've had great success with everyone we've hosted. But I can tell you that I really believe in this law for future potential too. We see the best content created when people are as passionate about coming and creating their content. And not only during the visits, but it's the gift that keeps giving and the posts that happen far past the time that they were spent in Alberta. The other truth is, so now I really view my role in social as a content curator. We're all about seeking out content, whether it be, of course, blogs and visual, but videos and so on and so forth. So, it's been such a shift from brand creation to content curation. But without distribution, your content can be amazing, but nobody will see it. So now I'm looking for multi-channel. So if a person is just a singular channel, like a blogger, that's okay. But if they don't blog and they're not on Twitter, then I kind of maybe move on to the next person. And if they don't blog and they're not on Twitter and they're not on Instagram, now I'm like, no, you're not interesting at all. And best of all, this year, I'm really looking for content producers that even move into the video realm. So we're putting more emphasis and enabling people who have this like multi-channel approach because the distribution is key for us, and I'm sure it is for you too. And the other learning that we've had is like this spectrum. So I thought a lot about, where we've been in a short period of time from that first video that I showed you, and that's like pure brand. We controlled every aspect other than the beauty. I didn't change any of that. But, we picked the locations, we hired models, we had, a horse wrangler to make sure those horses ran in the right direction. We had the best cinematographer. Everything. You get the idea, branded content, very controlled. The second video that I showed you with the Instagram content, that was still somewhat, like I directed it. We picked the photos that went into that video. We selected the music. It was still controlled. The next phase that we're venturing into, and it's new for us, is just saying, great, you want to come and you want to produce a video? Wonderful. Can't wait to see it. And most of the time when they hit live and share it on their Vimeo or YouTube channel, that is the first time that we'll see it too. I do not ask for a single change. I want their experience to be captured as authentically as possible so that other travelers can see themselves. And I think I have an example to share with you, of course. But this spectrum of content and letting go of the story has been and will be the future for us. So here's the video. So all that I did to control, the only control I had in that story was those, by the way, 2 of those guys are my local Instagrammers. Be sure to follow at CalSnape, that's CalSnape, such a talented guy, and at Taylor Michael Burke. And so Taylor and Callum said to me, they've actually become like the extension of my team. We've got these guys out of the US, oh, by the way, a major market for me, who want to come up and do a film like this. Would you support it? Yes. What do you need? Well, we don't know yet, but we'd like to do a helicopter tour. Maybe go, like, could you maybe get us that? Maybe you could get us ATV rental and a couple other things. Done. Like, that's all I did. Everything else, and like I say, that video came out, and I'm like, oh my God, it's beautiful. Like, that's the pinnacle moment for me. And so now our marketing teams, especially our US marketing team, is actually using that instead of our branded commercials, 30-second typical format, on YouTube for pre-roll through TrueView. So we're testing an entirely new idea of, like, can we capture people's attention with real stories with our marketing? So it doesn't always have to be that controlled, like, typical recipe and formula for success. So I leave you with this, and I would say that the team at Think has had a big impact on where what I'd like to think is my journey with social media. And I remember when I took on the role, I discovered I'd actually met William numerous times before and was a follower of his blog. He had written a blog post on the 5 stages of a destination marketing organization in terms of social media. And that's when I realized, oh my God, we're at stage 1. And so what are we going to do to get to stage 5? So what I loved is in his blog post, he gave us the formula. He gave us the recipe for success. So thank you for that. I like to think there were a level 4, level 5 now in 3 short years. But William also gave the recipe that I tried to build into this presentation. So if there are 5 key takeaways, I encourage you to read further on his blog about the background. But it's as simple as motivating, enabling, encouraging people to share more content. It doesn't always have to be you creating. Curating that then, and then distributing and amplifying it. So, the best day for me was when our team no longer said, we've come up with our brilliant marketing campaign, we're gonna win this market, now can you incorporate social media? Did you ever have this challenge? Because I sure did. And for me, that was like, oh, we'll just add the icons. But now we've evolved so much past that, and we actually have incorporated it into our media, and I have an example after this. So if you need to reach us, please consider following us. We would be humbly honored if you would. Just a random sample. Who would consider coming to Alberta now? Raise your hand. Oh, excellent. I think I've solved the problem for destination marketers. Show beautiful videos. This is just an example of our new creative. These photos were all taken by Instagrammers, and we are giving credit shared by with the handle. Our entire campaign is now user-generated content. So really happy to do that. So, I have one more commercial plug, because I couldn't come all this way without telling you about an exciting initiative, and then I'm done. Last Wednesday, we launched kind of an innovative use of Instagram. One of the best reasons to come, of course, is the hiking that we offer, and we decided to create some helpful content through Instagram. So we have an account, it's called Insta Hikes, where we used those 2 same Instagrammers that I've mentioned to you, Callum Snape and Taylor Michael Burke, to do a start to finish hiking guide of 5 of our most popular hikes. So I encourage you to check it out. You can learn everything about the hike. And in just a short week, we've gained a lot of followers. But again, when I was asked, what is the metric for success? And if you're familiar with a New York company, it's called Skift, their tourism marketing news. They asked me this in an interview, and I said, actually, I'm going to make it this simple. We like to try to to experiment with about 10% to 20% of our budget. We just want to try something that hasn't been tried before. I was inspired by something IKEA had done with a catalog through Instagram and was challenging our agency to help us come up with something innovative. So I'm really proud of this, and if you consider following it, I would love your feedback over the next 2 days. And again, if any of you take me up on that invitation to come and experience some of these breathtaking landscapes, would you please reach out to me, and I'll do my best to make sure you have the best trip to Alberta. So thank you for your time.